Hi friends, welcome back to our channel Easy English Grammar. We are discussing basic sentences. We have already discussed what an assertive sentence is. Now we are going to discuss what an interrogative sentence is. What do you mean by an interrogative sentence? Look here, an interrogative sentence is a question. An interrogative sentence is a question. The word interrogate means to question. The police interrogated the thief. പോലീസ് കള്ളനെ ചോദ്യം ചെയ്തു. അപ്പോൾ ഇൻട്രോഗേറ്റ് എന്നുള്ള വാക്കിൻ്റെ അർത്ഥം തന്നെ ചോദ്യം ചെയ്യുക എന്നുള്ളതാണ്. അപ്പോൾ ഇൻട്രോഗേറ്റീവ് സെൻറ്റൻസ് എന്ന് പറയുമ്പോൾ ചോദ്യങ്ങളാണ്, ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻസ്. ഫോർ എക്സാമ്പിൾ, ഹു ഈസ് ദാറ്റ്? Who is that? Who is that? Where do you come from? Where do you come from? Are you a singer? Are you a singer? Can you sing? Can you sing? These are questions. We want to get some answer for this. Well, who is that? ആരാണ്? Who is that? ഇപ്പോൾ ഞാനാണെന്ന് പറയും. എന്താ പറയുക? It's me. Who is that? It's me. Where do you come from? Where do you come from? Means where do you belong? നിങ്ങൾ ഏത് നാട്ടുകാരനാണ് എന്നുള്ള അർത്ഥമാണ് where do you come from. Where do you come from? Where are you coming from? നിങ്ങൾ ഇപ്പോൾ എവിടെ നിന്ന് വരുന്നു എന്ന് നമ്മൾ ചോദിക്കുമ്പോൾ നമ്മൾ പറയേണ്ടത് where are you coming from? Where are you coming from? Where do you come from means where do you belong? Are you a singer? Are you a singer? Are you a singer? താങ്കളൊരു ഗായകനാണോ? Yes or no? Yes or no? It is an yes or no question. Can you swim? Can you swim? നിങ്ങൾക്ക് നീന്താൻ കഴിയുമോ? Questions are broadly divided into two categories. Questions are broadly divided into two categories. They are WH questions and yes or no questions. WH questions and yes or no questions. WH questions are questions starting with WH words. Who, whose, whom, what, where, which, why, how. These are WH questions because these words contains the letters W and H. Who, whose, whom, what, where, which, and why. These words have WH in the beginning of this and in how also we have W and H. But these are known as WH questions. WH questions are questions having these two letters W and H. Who, whose, whom, what, where, which, why, and how are WH questions. Who invented radio? Whose bag is this? Whom are you looking for? Here, who, whose, whom. ആര്, ആരുടെ, ആരെ. അപ്പോൾ he, his, him, she, her, her എന്നതിൻ്റെ സ്ഥാനത്താണ് who. Nominative gives whose, objective, whose possessive and whom objective കേസിൽ നിൽക്കുന്നതാണ്. Who, whose, whom. Who invented radio? Whose bag is this? Whom are you looking for? What is that? What is that? What is the capital of India? Which is your pen? Why were you absent yesterday? What means Hindu? What is that? It is a cat. What is the capital of India? വാട്ട് എന്നുള്ളത് എന്ത് എന്നുള്ള അർത്ഥത്തിലാണ് ഉപയോഗിക്കാറുള്ളത്, പക്ഷേ ഏത് എന്നുള്ള അർത്ഥം കൂടി അതിന് വരാറുണ്ട്. വാട്ട്സ് ദ ക്യാപിറ്റൽ ഓഫ് ഇന്ത്യ? വാട്ട് ഈസ് ദ ക്യാപിറ്റൽ ഓഫ് ഇന്ത്യ? അപ്പോൾ ഇന്ത്യയുടെ തലസ്ഥാനം ഏതാണ്? വാട്ട് ഈസ് ദ ക്യാപിറ്റൽ ഓഫ് USA? വാട്ട്സ് ദ ക്യാപിറ്റൽ ഓഫ് ഇന്ത്യ? അപ്പോൾ ന്യൂഡൽഹി ഈസ് ദ ക്യാപിറ്റൽ ഓഫ് ഇന്ത്യ. വിച്ച് ഈസ് യുവർ പെൻ? വിച്ച് ഈസ് യുവർ പെൻ? വിച്ച് ഈസ് യുവർ പെൻ? ഏതാണ് നിൻ്റെ പേന? വൈ were you absent yesterday? Why were you absent yesterday? Why were you absent yesterday? So these are questions. who, whose, whom, what, where, which, why, how. What is that? What's the capital of India? Which is your pen? Why were you absent yesterday? The questions are very important in the case of spoken English, because in spoken English people find it difficult to ask questions. How are you? How are you? I am well. I am doing well. Okay. How much do I owe you? How much? How much do I owe you? How many students are there in the class? How much and how many? How much? How many? What's the difference between how much and how many? How much is used before uncountable nouns or uncountable nouns, and how many is used before countable nouns. Uncountable nouns and countable nouns. Countable nouns means we can use it as plurals. Student, students. Well, here, how much do I owe you means it is about money. Money is not used in plural. Money is not plural. There is no plural for money. Okay, yes. How much do I owe you? How much water is there in the pot? How many students are there in the class? How many mangoes are there in the basket? കുട്ടയിൽ എത്ര മാങ്ങകൾ ഉണ്ട്? How much water? Water ഒരിക്കലും waters എന്ന് പറയാറില്ല. How much water is there in the well or in the pot? How are you? How much do I owe you? How many students are there in the class? In written English, we must put an interrogative mark at the end of a question. We start with a capital letter and a question mark at the end of the sentence. An assertive sentence, we start with a capital letter and ends with a full stop or period or full stop. Now we are discussing how often. How often? How often do you go to park? How often do you go to park? How often indicates frequency. Frequency of time. How often do you go to park? നിങ്ങൾ എപ്പോഴൊക്കെ പാർക്കിൽ പോകാറുണ്ട്? I go to park on Sundays. I go to park on Sundays. How often does he go to temple? How often does he go to temple? How often does she go to temple? അവൾ എപ്പോഴൊക്കെ അമ്പലത്തിൽ പോകാറുണ്ട്? She goes to temple on Mondays or Tuesdays or every day, etc. How often does he go to mosque? How often does he go to mosque? He goes to mosque on Fridays or 5 times a day, etc. How often do they go to church? How often do they go to church? They go to church on Sundays or every day or twice a week, etc. This shows frequency of time. How often? How often do you go to park? How often does he go to temple? How often does he go to mosque? How often do they go to church? How often indicates frequency of time. Now how far? How far shows distance. How far is your home? How far is your home? My home is 20 kilometers away from here. How far is your home? How far can we trust him? എത്രത്തോളം? How far can we trust him? എത്രത്തോളം നമുക്ക് അയാളെ വിശ്വസിക്കാൻ പറ്റും? How far is he true? Dear learners, let us stop here for time being, and we can continue further in our next classes. Thank you very much for watching, and follow me in our next classes too. Once again, thank you.